Well, hello there, everybody. Good people of the world. My name is Crys'Dawna. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Cannon. He is a puggle. This is my buddy. So, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button. If you're not new here, welcome back, friends and family. Do you say hi to everybody? Hi, everybody. Today we are going to be making over the secretary desk back here. This is for one of my really good friends. If you guys don't know, I live in Germany and we are a military family. One of my friends who has been here with me for 3 years, she is going to be leaving in May and I want to give her something special. She's not really sure where she's gonna put it, so we are gonna be doing neutrals today. I am going to show you how to blend with neutral colors to really make a statement piece. I love color. I know you guys love it when I do color. I also want to show those of you who want to create character on a piece of furniture how to do it if you want to do it with neutrals as well. So if you guys want to see that, stay here. This is the piece that we'll be working on today. It is just your kind of plain little secretary desk, nothing crazy or fancy on it, but we are going to transform it and make it look really pretty. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean the inside. I am using GREENEZ Cleaner to clean the inside, and I want to show you something. So this cleaner is pretty phenomenal, actually. It is a clean and strip type of cleaner, but it is a green cleaner. So what I did, I knew that this was going to really take the finish off. So I'm going to use full strength on here and I allow it to sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I wanted to show you, I did a little test spot right here and you can see how it's starting to turn that brown color, and watch when I wipe across it. It is going to take that finish off. So I knew this was going to be a dirty job, so I took it outside and I want to show you right here. I did this on the entire piece, but what I did is I put the full strength cleaner on the entire piece. I allowed it to sit for about 10 to 15 minutes on the entire cleaner, and I repeated this process twice. So right here, you're gonna see I took a white paper towel and I wiped across it just because I wanted you guys to see how dirty it was. But what I ended up doing was taking a 3M scrubbing pad and I scrubbed everything, and then I rinsed everything off with water. I didn't show you that because I didn't want to freak you guys out. I cleaned the entire piece. Like I said, I put the full strength on there 10-15 minutes. I scrubbed everything with 3M pad, and then I took my hose and I rinsed it off, and this is what it looks like. I did not use stripper on this, guys. All I did was take that cleaner, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, took a 3M pad, scrubbed it, and I rinsed it off with my hose. Now you can do that with solid wood furniture. You don't want to do it with something that's got MDF, and I debated whether or not I should show you guys on camera, but I decided against it because I didn't want to freak anyone out. But I am, and this was the first time that I did this, so I am going to do this on another piece so I can show you guys exactly what I was talking about. So just hang tight. I promise I'll show it to you. But what I'm doing is I'm taking a fine rad pad right now and just kind of smoothing the surface out, because when you go over wood grain with water, it can raise the grain. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going over everything to smooth the grain back out because it did raise it a little bit. This is fully dry. You want to wait for it to be fully dry before you do that. The next thing I'm going to do is use Wise Owl's furniture salve, and I am going to condition these drawers. I'm going to put this all over the sides of the drawers, inside the drawers, on the drawer slides. And this is going to condition and deodorize everything, but you don't want to get this on any area where you're going to be painting, otherwise the paint will not adhere. This is just going to revive everything, and then what I do is I wipe away the excess with a microfiber cloth, but it's going to make this piece smell super good and the wood look really nice. My friend wanted more of a pale gold on here, so I'm going to go in with Redesign with Prima's metallic sheen acrylics in goldenrod, and I'm going to paint this inside with that. So I laid it on its back, and I'm just using a synthetic brush that I had, and I'm going to apply 2 coats of this on the entire piece. But I was pleasantly surprised because it has pretty great coverage. Although the greenies took most of the pre-existing finish off, we are still going to prime this with Wise Owl's gray primer. I am going to be using some lighter color, so I want to make sure that this is nice and primed, because even though we took the finish off, this still is an oak wood, and oak still has tannins in it, and I do not want to have any bleed through. So I always tell everyone, make sure that you're priming your pieces if you think that there's any chance of bleed through, especially with lighter colors. So I'm going to do 2 coats of gray linen over top of this gray primer now that it is dry. This is going to be my base coat because we are going to be blending this. Now, I know I've said before that gray is white's cousin and I don't like it, but I'm going to admit this to you guys, and don't you ever tell anyone else. Gray linen is a really beautiful grayish color, a nice warm gray. So I'm going to be using more warmer gray tones on this piece. So gray linen is going to be more of a grayish, Weathervane is more of a warmer dark gray, and then Antique Villa is a warmer white. This is the bottom blended, and I'm going to show you how to get this look. So we are going to be using the following. We're going to be using Weathervane. These are all Wise Owl colors. We're going to be using Antique Villa, and then we are going to be using gray linen again. These are the 3 colors we're going to be using. You're going to want a mister bottle. You're going to want a paintbrush for each color. You're going to want a clean, dry, neutral brush. I am using the Caddie Brush by Paint Pixie, which I've grown to really, really like with blending. I am going to mist the area. I'm going to put a thin layer of gray linen on this drawer front so that we have some wet paint going on. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep misting this because this is a chalk paint, and so it can dry fairly fast. So I'm going to mist it, and then I'm going to outline this drawer with Weathervane, and this is going to be my shading. So we're going to outline the entire drawer with Weathervane, and we're going to keep misting to keep that paint moving. We don't want it to stick. Once I was done outlining the drawer with Weathervane, I am going to mist it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush that has the gray linen, and I'm just going to lightly blend them together so that we can start getting a rough blend. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Antique Villa, and I'm going to add some of that to the drawer. And when I'm adding it to the drawer, I am going to take the brush and kind of brush it in and already start blending it into that paint. Remember, we are going to keep this misted because this is a chalk-like paint. And then I'm going to take the Weathervane, go around the edge one more time, and then I'm going to take that clean, dry, neutral brush that I told you. This is the Caddie Brush from Paint Pixie. I'm going to mist it, and I'm just going to go in circles, up and down, horizontal, all over in a bunch of different directions, and I'm going to blend all of these colors together. Now, you may need to take that rag and wipe off the Caddie brush a little bit, or your clean, dry, neutral brush in between to get some of those darker colors off, and then continue to blend and just lightly feather everything together. Remember, I've told you guys before, we are military, and so I am going to distress this piece because if I don't do it, the movers will. I am just taking a super fine 10mm pad with my 3x4 electric ray, and I'm just softly going over everything. And when I say I'm distressing it, it doesn't have to be a heavy distress. It just has to be to where it's not super perfect. That way, if it does get nicked in a move, it is not heartbreaking. So this is going to smooth everything out, and it does lighten it up, but once I put the sealer on, it's going to darken everything back up. I am going to apply a redesign with Prima transfer. This one is a newer one. It's called Painted Florals, and I cut it to fit the side, and I'm going to remove it from the protective backing, and I burnish it, also known as just rubbing over it, with my hand really well. And then I have a transfer tool, but these do come with a stick where you can also do the same exact thing. And I'm going to make sure that I burnish it really well with my transfer tool. And I'm going to then concentrate on one area and pull it back lightly and I'm going to burnish it while I'm pulling it back to make sure that it does transfer over to the surface. This paint does need to be sealed and transfers need to be sealed, so I'm going to use the matte varnish by Wise Owl, and I'm going to seal this entire piece. So I'm using a sponge to seal this, and then after I do pieces that have these cracks and crevices, I just take a cheap chip brush and I kind of just brush in those areas so that I can get any excess sealer that might be sitting in there, because we do not want that to just dry like that. I waited 24 hours and then I took the Wise Owl Black wax and I'm going to put it in the cracks and crevices just to add a little bit more shading and dimension to this. So this is over a top coat and I'm going to just apply it and then I'm going to wipe it back with a microfiber cloth so that way we don't have any excess. Otherwise it will just sit on top of here. We want to make sure that we are rubbing it in so that we're buffing it, and that way it doesn't become tacky. The last thing that I did was add some redesign with Prima's gold. It's called Eternal Decor Wax, and I just dry brushed it on the handle so that we could add a little bit more gold on these. This is an oil-based wax, so it's going to stay on here, and once it dries, it's going to start curing and become permanent. All right, everybody, this piece is done. This video is done. Here is what it looks like. I'm going to have some final staged photos on here in a second. That way you can see the inside. I mean, I guess I could show you guys the inside. So here is the inside. It is goldenrod. My friend wanted it gold in there, so I think it ties really well in with those flowers. But I will have some final staged photos for you guys so that you can see it all. And yes, I purposely distressed pieces under here and everywhere because, again, remember, we're a military family, so if the movers don't distress it, if I don't distress it, the movers will distress it. Remember, everything I use is in the description below. And until next time, guys, happy creating, and I'll see you later. Bye.